Plant-based nutrition, discussing the benefits of a plant-based diet. A plant-based diet is a type of dietary pattern that focuses on consuming mostly or entirely foods that come from plants. This includes fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. Plant-based diets may also include non-animal sources of protein such as tofu or tempeh. In this article, we share many benefits of following a plant-based diet. We also discuss tips to help you follow this diet. A plant-based diet may lower your blood pressure. High blood pressure, or hypertension, can increase the risk for health issues, including heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. Fortunately, the food you eat can make a difference. Several studies have shown that sticking with a plant-based diet can reduce blood pressure, thereby reducing your risk for those conditions. A meta-analysis explored data from 39 studies and concluded that people who followed a vegetarian diet had lower blood pressure on average than those who followed omnivorous diets, meaning those including plants and meat. Another study found that vegetarians had a 34% lower risk of developing hypertension than non-vegetarians. A plant-based diet may keep your heart healthy. Meat contains saturated fat, which can contribute to heart issues when eaten in excess. So by cutting back on meat and loading up on plant-based foods, you're doing your ticker a favor. Eating a plant-based diet may reduce the risk of developing cardiovascular disease by 16% and of dying of this health condition by about 31%. But it's not just about limiting meat. To help prevent cardiovascular disease, you want to consume foods that are anti-inflammatory, which happen to be mainly plant-based foods. These include green leafy vegetables, yellow vegetables, whole grains, walnuts, extra virgin olive oil, fatty fish, tomatoes, and fruits. A plant-based diet may help prevent type 2 diabetes. It's well known that there's a link between diet and type 2 diabetes. Weight is a major risk factor since more fatty tissue makes the cells more resistant to insulin. But which type of diet is best to avoid type 2 diabetes? Studies suggest that a plant-based one has benefits. A study found that eating a plant-based diet filled with high-quality plant foods reduced the risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 34%. It's likely because plants are lower in saturated fats than animal foods, which raises cholesterol levels and your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes was 7.6% among non-vegetarians and only 2.9% for vegans. Eating a plant-based diet could help you lose weight. Your risk of obesity decreases when you swap a meat-heavy diet for a plant-based one. The idea is to nourish the body and cells to improve health outcomes, but weight loss may be a byproduct of replacing and reducing certain foods. Body mass index differences between non-meat eaters and meat eaters. The mean BMI for vegans was 23.6, while for non-vegetarians it was 28.8, which qualifies as overweight, according to the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. Eating more plants can help you drop pounds, too. A small study found that 65 overweight adults who followed a whole food, plant-based diet for 1 year lost 9.25 pounds on average. Plus, this diet was not calorie restricted. The participants were allowed to eat what they wanted and still lost weight. Following a plant-based diet long-term may help you live longer. All of the other potential benefits listed here roll into one major one: living longer. A plant-based diet lowers the risk of all causes of mortality by 25%. And beyond that, the protective levels increase if you stick with healthy plant-based foods. Another study found that eating healthy plant foods versus unhealthy ones extends that protection layer by another 5%. To determine healthy plant foods, researchers assigned various non-animal products a score between 1 and 17. Less healthy foods like soda, cake, and white bread, though meat-free, received a low score. Meanwhile, healthier plant foods, like whole grains, veggies, and fruit, received a higher score. A plant-based diet may decrease your risk of cancer. As we've seen, following a plant-based diet has many health benefits, but can it help prevent cancer? The American Institute for Cancer Research says the best way to source cancer-protective nutrients, including fiber, vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals, is to eat a diet rich in vegetables, fruit, grains, beans, nuts, seeds, and some animal foods. And the same goes for cancer survivors. The protective benefits are there, though they're moderate, lowering the risk for certain cancers by about 10%, and are likely due to the nutrients present in plant foods, and because eating this way promotes a healthy weight. A plant-based diet may improve your cholesterol. High cholesterol can lead to fatty deposits in the blood, which can restrict blood flow and potentially lead to heart attack, stroke, or heart disease. But a healthy diet can help keep cholesterol levels in check. Specifically, moving away from a diet filled with animal products toward one that's primarily plant-based can lower LDL, bad cholesterol by between 10 and 15%, while those following a strict vegan diet can lower their LDL cholesterol by as much as 25%. Eating a plant-based diet may minimize your risk of stroke. Your risk for stroke increases if you have high blood pressure, are overweight, have diabetes or heart disease, have high cholesterol, or smoke, drink, or use drugs. As noted above, most of those risk factors can be wiped out by following a plant-based diet and making healthy lifestyle choices. After all, half of strokes are preventable. One simple way to reduce your risk is by increasing your intake of fruits and vegetables. The highest consumers of fruits and veggies had a 21% lower risk of stroke than those who consumed the least, according to a study. Ramping up your plant intake may keep your brain strong. The physiological benefits of following a plant-based diet are many, but there are some possible mental ones, too. There is some compelling research examining plant-based diets and their role in slowing the progression of Alzheimer's. A review of 9 studies found that eating an extra 100 grams of fruits and vegetables per day, about 1/2 cup, led to a 13% reduction in the risk of cognitive impairment and dementia. Fruits and vegetables are rich in polyphenol, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, aka the cornerstones of a plant-based diet. Polyphenol may help slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease and may help reverse cognitive decline. It's also important to consider what you're consuming and adding to your diet. Cutting back on meat will almost certainly benefit you. Plant foods have less saturated fat and typically fewer calories, but the benefits extend beyond what you're limiting. Eating more plants means acquiring more beneficial vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and fiber, many deficient in unconscious eating. It's always good to remember before making any health-related decisions, to consult with a dietitian or your primary care physician. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Nutri Trifecta Life for more health tips and natural solutions.